Hello traders, this is Jim Comiskey, Senior Market Strategist at MF Global, coming to you live from Comiskey's Corner, actually. It is Friday, October the 14th. Give us some color on the metals markets, amongst other things. First of all, the opinions that I am no doubt about to express are mine and mine alone, and are not necessarily shared by MF Global. Okay. First of all, the gold. It's actually quite a quiet day. A bit of a calm before the storm. The G20 is meeting this weekend in Paris, and we'll see what happens. There's no question in my mind we're going to have some fireworks come Sunday night, Monday. Okay. Gold is currently up $12.90 to $16.8130. The silver up 45 cents to 32.11. Copper up 11 full cents. That's a big move for copper. 341.80. The greenback is down 35 to 76.93, and the European currency up 93 to 138.68. Where to start? Okay, first of all, we're going to have a little bit of a change in format. Particularly for Comiskey's Corner. I realize I can be rather long-winded. I apologize. Okay. But what we're going to do now is we're going to start posting links to the stories that I view as relevant, that I basically read you, okay? And so what I'll do is I'll just summarize what I have, and you guys can just jump on the links, just follow the links, okay? That should be a lot more efficient going forward, okay, in my humble opinion. Anyways, where to start? Okay, first of all, we had a retail sales report this morning. Okay, and since this is the first day with the links, I don't think I sent them all to Tim, so you might not see them all posted. Bear with me, we'll get this thing ramped up in a much more efficient manner, okay? Retail sales this morning. Okay, now, this was for September. It beat expectations handily. It came in at 1.1%. We were looking for up 0.7. Okay, ex-autos, factoring out auto sales, it was up 0.6, above expectations of up 0.3. All right. Okay, now the real beat here, okay, was surprisingly, it was auto sales and gas station sales. So there was a surge in gas station sales. So there is actually a subset category to this number, okay? It's something that these people, the bubble builders, will never really tell you, okay? They're just going to give you the headline. Although Santelli, every once in a while, he'll dig deep, because he's a good man. One of the few on that network, in my humble opinion. Okay, the bulk of the beat. Retail sales, ex-autos, came in at up 0.5% on expectations of 0.4. So the number wasn't all that great. Okay, the headline looked great, but the real number did not look great. Now, remember, I've made this observation the last couple of days, weeks, about how the market is almost like schizophrenic. We're bouncing around from headline to headline, depending upon whether it originates Europe or stateside here, or wherever. Okay, Chinese news movement is huge. Okay, but here, this is just a little encapsulation of how this schizophrenia is pervasive. All right, now retail sales, as I just noted, came out up 1.1. Now, consumer confidence came in a couple hours later. All right, handily beat expectations. Check that. We got confirmation consumers are not only more optimistic, with the overall Michigan confidence number sliding from 59.4 to 57.5. We were looking for 60.2, so this number came in much weaker than we had been expected. The consumer expectations component. Here's another part that, forget about it. They're not going to tell you about it. Consumer expectations number dropped from 49.4% to 47%. Okay, now, that is the lowest consumer expectations number since May of 1980. Okay, so we've got, this is courtesy of Zero Hedge, by the way. I doubt you can see this, but it's a chart. Basically, what it's showing is a surge in retail sales, okay, and how consumer confidence is plummeting. All right, this is all auto sales. Okay, it's auto sales, ironically, auto sales, particularly in this environment, and gasoline sales. I did read a study. I don't have it with me. I didn't print it. A full 55 to 60%, and I sourced it. Okay, it's legitimate. the estimates range from between 50% and 60% of all the sales right now in the country are business autos purchases. Okay, not individuals. So maybe the fleet's just aging and it's being replaced, and it kind of showed up in that retail sales number. Okay, moving on. This is how dysfunctional Washington has gotten, and I think we're going to have links to these up there. All right, this is courtesy of Reuters. Senate Republican jobs bill urges tax reform and cuts. All right, now yesterday, Obama sparked a big to-do. He had a press conference with South Korean president, and during which he said he was prepared to work with Republicans, but added he has not yet seen a GOP plan that would create jobs in the near term. Okay, this got John Boehner awful angry. Because apparently Obama and Boehner's office actually released detailed account of this conversation. Obama called Boehner's office to compliment him about passing not one but two, but three trade agreements yesterday. By the way, those trade agreements were actually negotiated and under the Bush administration and in Obama's desk for the last 2.5 years. All right, he finally brought them to vote. Anyways, Boehner said that he last spoke to the president 3 weeks ago. He reminded Obama that the House GOP released a jobs plan in May and that his leadership team has spoken to Obama and his staff about the plan on numerous occasions. So again, another example of how Obama is in basically full campaign form. Yeah, I could go on and on, but here's a good one. Charlie Schumer, one of my favorite politicians. He called the Republican jobs plan a political fig leaf that would likely add to the deficit while doing nothing to create jobs. You know what? I'd be willing to bet anyone out there, okay, because this Republican job, it's called Jobs Through Growth Act, all right, features a fresh call for tax reform and cuts, as well as a number of components previously proposed but stalled in the Democratic-led Senate, oddly enough. These steps include a requirement to balance the budget, repeal Obama's overhaul of the U.S. healthcare system, lift prohibitions on offshore energy exploration, and promote U.S. trade. All right, whether I agree or disagree with those is completely irrelevant, guys. My point is, Schumer hasn't even seen this plan, and he's already throwing it under a bus. Okay, it's all a bit ridiculous, but there was a little blurb I wanted to read to you. Okay, during the call, and I'll wrap this up. Boehner's office said that the speaker rejected Obama's comment Republicans have not offered a jobs creation plan, noting that Republicans offered one in May. In fact, the House has actually passed 11 bills in the last, calendar year to ease regulations on businesses and make it easier to drill for oil and gas. Again, don't hit me and start yelling at me about advocating drilling. Although it is ridiculous that a lot of these permits have been held up by Salazar. Okay, the environmental, I forget what his actual jobs title is, Interior Secretary, Ken Salazar. He basically he hasn't issued any new permits, well, not many. Okay, since that Gulf disaster. Okay, but on the whole, seriously, I mean, how many oil leaks do you really hear about? Who knows? There could be a lot more that don't get into mainstream media, whatever. But all in all, it seems to me like the oil and gas industries are pretty diligent. My humble opinion. All right, so here. Oh, none of those 11 bills that the House passed, okay, even came up for a vote in the Senate. All right, Harry Reid sitting on them. S&P, as I was coming over here, S&P downgraded BNP. All right, BNP now is, I believe, by assets, the biggest French bank there is. All right, they downgraded them from a AA to AA negative. Okay, they're lowering the hybrid capital instrument rating on all top 5 French banks. Okay, those banks being, and they go into the rationale here. BNP Paribas, Credit Agricole, SocGen, Société Générale, Credit Mutual, and BPCE. 5 biggest French banks just downgraded, okay, to AA negative from AA. Look for this to continue, okay. By the way, this morning I neglected to mention it. Fitch had cut the ratings on Italy. All right, so just like last Friday when it was actually Moody's that cut the ratings on Italy and Spain, so they're all jumping on board here, okay? So you got sharks circling the boat. Boat has a hole in it. Eventually, it's going to sink. All right, I was going to go on about this Solyndra loan. I'll just give you a brief synopsis here. I'm sure you've seen it. Okay, Treasury Department officials testified today that they've never in their careers seen the government handle a loan quite like the Energy Department handled the $528 million in taxpayer dollars that was lent to a failed solar firm, Solyndra. At a tense hearing on Capitol Hill, two Treasury officials acknowledged that the government's restructuring of the loan earlier this year was unusual, if not unprecedented. Through that process, Solyndra investors, not taxpayers, were put at the front of the line for recovering money in case of bankruptcy. Gary Berner, Chief Financial Officer of the Treasury Federal Financing Bank, responsible for the loan and a 28-year vet of the Treasury Department, said he's never heard of a case where private money was prioritized ahead of taxpayer money in a loan. All right, now, one of the big investors in Solyndra, one of the founders, I believe, he is what's called a bundler for Barack Obama. All right, in other words, he raises campaign donations for Obama. Okay, and oddly enough, his name supersedes ours. Okay, the public's. This could really get messy for the administration, okay? Newly released emails showed the Treasury Department was concerned that the loan restructuring approved earlier this year could violate federal law. The lawmakers cite emails showing that Mary Miller, an assistant Treasury secretary, said the deal could violate the law because it put investors' interests ahead of taxpayers. Miller told a top White House budget official she'd advise that any proposed restructuring be reviewed by the Justice Department before it was approved. To our knowledge, that never happened, Miller wrote in an August 17th memo to the White House Office of Management and Budget. Yeah, this could really, really get messy. And Henry Waxman, another one of my favorite politicians. In fact, I really don't have any favorite politicians. You guys probably sense that, right? Henry Waxman, okay, he's complaining about the probe into Solyndra. In other words, him and his cabal would no doubt like this to go away as quickly as possible. But it's not going to. All right, Waxman complained that since there were no Energy Department officials at the hearing to give their side, okay, we're only going to get one side of the story. He went on to accuse Republicans of conducting an unfair investigation while trying to maintain our addiction to fossil fuels. Okay, so they're investigating a concrete incident, $589 million gone, and Waxman basically has to go there, curing our addiction to fossil fuels. You know what? If there's been like something illegal done here, investigate the facts. Don't start throwing stuff against the wall like your addiction to fossil fuels. That's why we're here. No, it's people stealing, okay, from me and you. By the way, all right, I was going to go into another rant about the Italian students storming Goldman Sachs' office this afternoon. No, the outrage. It's too easy. All right, remember I've said, for those of you that follow me, I mean, weeks ago, months ago, whatever, I said, look for these riots to pick up in pace. All right, I believe that was during the Arab Spring, when it started out in Tunisia, spread to Egypt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what happened. Okay, and now the Italians. Look for it to come to a city near you, like Chicago. Okay, now there was a gentleman that left another comment about the Occupy, I guess it's Occupy LaSalle Street now. Jim, go down to the Occupy protest on 5th. You'll realize it's not even a protest. Yes, I'm against the system too, but what they are doing and asking for is downright stupid. I'm not going to go there. Okay, but what I want to do is I've done some research now on the Occupy Occupy whatever, because now, it's San Diego, it's San Francisco, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Chicago, as you know. By the way, I was downstairs at lunch talking to one of these people. Okay, it was a woman that had a sign saying, we're the 99%. And I just happened to notice, I should have brought my phone over the camera. Happened to notice she was holding a Coach purse. Okay, and my wife has one or two of those. And I said, do you mind if I take your picture? And she says, no, feel free. Took the picture, and I just said, you got a nice bag there. Is that a Coach purse? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, those are kind of expensive, aren't they? It's like, well, yeah, my folks bought it for me. I'm not making that up, okay? Anyways, I looked into, all right, there's an amazing email file that was just released, okay? Seriously, now you gotta listen up, okay, please. You either go on rebelpundit.com or biggovernment.com, all right? Again, rebelpundit, PUNDIT.com or biggovernment, one word, .com. There is a gentleman, I didn't write his name down, but it's with regards to the files of these people, the Occupy Wall Street. They just call themselves OCW, all right? But there is a woman, I mean, this movement, what it is, it's a huge file in Excel spreadsheet form, all right, that is all their communications, the organizers. Now, this didn't spring up just out of the blue. This was organized by people out of New York, okay? And I'm going to name a couple names out in New York and Seattle. Lisa Fithian, Fithian, okay, is one of their main organizers. Again, go on Real Pundit or biggovernment.com. You can see a bunch of stuff on her. There's a video of her standing in Grant Park the other night, basically talking to the people. But anyways, this file, and if you take the time to download it, it's fascinating reading. But these people are not kooks. Okay? I'll go on record as saying that. I mean, any movement, any group, okay, there's kooks in this room, trust me. Okay, I'm probably the biggest one. All right. So when I use that term, come on, it's like a term of endearment. You know, if you read this email exchange that they have, and it's email addresses, it's phone numbers, it's addresses of all the people that were involved in organizing this. They've been organizing for almost a year now. Obviously, I haven't read all the emails. It's a huge file. But I did read, again, there's exchanges going back from Lisa Fithian, Alex Claver, a bunch of people. You know, Fithian, I actually Googled. She is a known anarchist. Well, you know, take that for what it's worth. But you go ahead and Google this woman's name, okay? By the way, she's been seen downstairs. Lisa Fithian, Fithian, a known anarchist. Okay. I printed a little bit of what she had said in this file that was released. Apparently someone that used to work with her or occupy or whatever, or protest with her, I guess, he decided he wasn't going to do this anymore. And so he's basically an insider, I guess, but he's angry at her. There was a falling out, and he released this whole file, this organizational files. But here, Lisa Fithian, Saturday, October the 1st, 2011, 12:52 p.m. Okay, hey folks, in addition to the growing Occupy movement, a bunch of community-based organizations, unions, and allies are taking actions, shutting down banks, streets, and reoccupying homes, and linking up with the Occupy movement. For upcoming actions, blah, 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 www.newbottomline.com. Upcoming events. She's got all these clips. LA kicks off Monday. Here's the link to another occupation, Save a Home, San Francisco, Boston, from Bay Area. It's fascinating. Check out the link. But here, I printed something that one gentleman had said to a woman in the exchange. Okay, our families have endured. I don't know the person's name. Okay, in fact, if I did, I probably shouldn't say it. But this was just one of their little underlings. Our families have endured financial oppression for long enough. We're here to defend the people of the United States of America. America has been invaded and is currently occupied by global banks that have systematically looted our economy and destroyed our economic future through a system of political bribery, campaign lobbying, and revolving door finance between Wall Street and Washington. All right. So, you know, these people are actually saying a lot of intelligent things on that Excel exchange. But take a look, if you will, and it's amazing. It's really fascinating stuff. A lot of comments. One I wanted to comment on specifically, and then I'll let you guys go. Okay. Hopefully, I'm not in the 20-minute range here. Tried to watch myself last night. Way too long. Way too long. So again, we're going to try and post links. Here. Eraser 7622. You just don't get it, dude. Your thought process is way too shallow. Could be. My wife tells me that anyway. The issue is fractional reserve banking and money creation from nothing. Absolutely. Deeper than that, it is fascism. Deeper than that is a concentration of wealth in the hands of less than 1% of the population as a product of the decisions wasted upon the people by the elite control corporations who in turn control the government. Absolutely. I say this stuff all the time. So I'm not sure what I don't get. But here, I'll take the good with the bad, guys. If you want to criticize, go for it. You are blind if you think this is about foreclosures. That's just a symptom. Well, no, I'm not blind to think it's just about foreclosures, but generally, like 9 times out of 10, in fact 10 times out of 10, any economic downturn is going to be preceded by 2 things. Okay, 2 things. This is a shallow guy thinking, talking, right? You're going to see an oil price spike or an energy price spike, and then you will see the housing market stagnate. No, again, I take criticism, no problem. I take it just as much as the compliments. Okay, so keep them coming. But I kind of do think I'm not that shallow. I like to read between the lines. I like to present something, in as straightforward and symmetrical manner as I can. You want to think I'm shallow? Totally cool. If you guys would like to email me, please feel free to do so. My email address is just the letter J, COMISKEY@mfglobal.com. Or give me a call at the desk. My number 888-800-5373. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great weekend. Please always remember now that trading commodities is inherently risky, not suitable for all investors. Thanks. See you Monday.